I want to give you a quick update on my application for the DoorDash position for DoorDash Corporate for the DoorDash Customer Service Center here in Phoenix/Tempe, Arizona. DoorDash initially had reached out to me, a recruiter reached out to me, and then LinkedIn said, hey, this should be a position that you apply for. This is a position that you qualify for. You would be a great fit for this position. So I did apply for DoorDash. I got past the HR screening, then went through that second round of interviews. And during that time, I was really thinking to myself, when you've been into that corporate life, you kind of have an understanding of what that really means. Because DoorDash does have a solid compensation package, a mix of salary, stock options, bonus, especially when you consider that I had over 10 years experience. That would be compensating for my experience on top of that as well. But the question is not what you make, it's what you give for that. And to be honest, when you're working in these companies like that, you're probably working a minimum of 50 hours a week, probably closer to 60 to 70 hours a week. You're probably not doing 5 days a week, you're probably doing 6 days a week. If you are doing 5 days a week, you're probably working 12 hours a day. So going back to that corporate environment, it was a back and forth, the gift and a curse, because I can remember times in my career where you have a date night planned or something planned for a Friday and you got to stay late. You're supposed to be off at 5 and you're, at the office until 7:30, 8 o'clock, or because you're working with people around the world, especially with customer service and call centers. You typically have partners in the Philippines, in Colombia, and that requires, management, that requires communication, etc. And so because of those time differences, you're also looking at scheduling meetings, either 7 o'clock your time, PM, that's 7 a.m. their time, or vice versa, to work with these teams, that are technically at the end of their shift. So you're putting in long hours, going in early, staying late. And some people are like, yeah, it comes with the territory. But I mean, if that's your thing, that's your thing. But if you're somebody who's always had more of an independent heart and looking for more of that work-life balance, that may not work for you. I mean, that kind of puts you in a position where you essentially got to make a choice between maybe your job or your family. And that shouldn't be a choice that people have to make, especially not in today's economy. On the other side of the coin, having that opportunity to, essentially get behind the curtain and see what the wizard's working with. We talk about DoorDash and we say DoorDash does this and that, but how much does DoorDash really know? I think a lot of times people give these corporations too much credit for their levels of intelligence. I'll tell you this, people who just get degrees and go from college to the corporate environment, they're really not geniuses. I mean, if you're going to be honest about it, college is mostly beer bongs and smoking blunts half the time. I mean, D's get degrees. It doesn't tell you just because they have a degree what GPA they have. After you have a degree, nobody cares about your GPA once you get a job. And the smart people, they get a job within that first semester before they even graduate. So all they do need is a degree by their start date. I mean, if you think about it, look at all these times these apps have had breakdowns, with especially the DoorDash app. And these are college educated, technological, IT people, engineers, server maintenance, techs, etc. Yet they can't keep this app running for a consistent 30 days straight. And these are supposed to be these high-level people, MBAs, etc. And if you really want to get into it, the biggest thing about the corporate enterprise is that A students end up working for B students who end up working for C students. And what I mean is that typically the C students are the people who own the company. They're the people who are working smarter, not harder. The A students, they're very much to the grindstone, following all the rules. And the B students are the people who know how to follow the rules. They know how to execute very well, but they're also into working smarter and not harder. Those are the people who are typically looking to move jobs quickly for more money, and if not, for higher position potential, they're asking for the jobs. I mean, the A students do a good job, maybe doing a little bit of brown nosing, but they're not the people running the companies. They're not the CEOs getting fired for cooking books, fudging numbers, and that type of stuff, or cutting corners. They're A students. They're never going to do that stuff. Those are the B and C students who end up having the A students work for them, that are going to, put their nose to the grindstone, that are going to work from 5 a.m. to 8 p.m. No C students doing that shit. Some B students will do that occasionally. But I mean, a lot of people are giving these companies way too much credit. I mean, look at me. I'm a regular ass dude. I did that. I could go back to doing that at any time. And I guess to answer the question, am I going back to doing that? No. I was not offered a position. And I think that kind of speaks to what I was saying before. I'm your prototypical BC student. Like I mentioned, college is a lot about beer bongs and blunts and getting that degree, because I wanted to find smarter ways to do things. So I was the dude that will, read code, look at the computer, look at the algorithms and say, yeah, let's just make this plus this. That would make that easier. That would make that faster. That would make that more efficient. Why don't we create one of these? Instead of saying, well, the proper way to do this is actually A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I don't know why we're skipping letters here. I mean, that's the A student, but that ain't me. I am, a little bit disappointed with the outcome, I'm not going to lie. But thinking about, going back to that life of reporting to people, having people tell me what to do, what time to wake up, getting up early, staying late, especially when your heart's not into it, you can't pay people enough. I think we're seeing that today with what's going on with the great resignation, the big hiring short, whatever you want to call it, is that there's some jobs that you just can't pay people enough to do, especially when they've got that glimpse that life could end at any moment, or maybe they had somebody that was affected by the pandemic. You got to really think, you got to follow your passion, you got to follow your heart. And yeah, I really did want to see what was behind that curtain. I did want to find out how smart is DoorDash, because getting into one part of the company, you get insight to other aspects of the company, you get connections with other people. Even though I was with the customer service side of my previous job, I ended up working with the systems and technology group, the retail group, HR managers, etc., technical people, liaisons, offshore teams, etc. So in the end, even though it's a little bit of a disappointment, it's actually somewhat of a relief as well. Because in the end, I get to keep doing what I love. I love being independent. I love creating content. I love doing the things that help people. I mean, that was the biggest thing that I enjoyed in my corporate career. I was able to help so many people get promoted. I was able to help so many people see through the corporate BS, cut through it, get higher level positions. I was able to help a lot of people make better of themselves, of their lives, better things for their families, show them different options and how to move it on up in corporate America. The same way I did with y'all on my channel, that's the same thing I did with my team. That's the biggest thing I'm proud of, the people that I was able to get promoted, people that a lot of other people would have counted out, people that a lot of other people looked down on, because I cared about the people. I cared about their future. Nonetheless, all that being said, can I say that I'll never go back corporate? I can't say that. I don't know what the future holds. It was a nice little compensation package. If they throw that out to me again, I mean, I got one of those personalities that hates to lose. So part of me wants to get offered the position just to see what's behind the curtain. How much does a wizard know? Are they really that smart? I'm sure they're very intelligent people, but I personally don't give them credit for all the things that I think a lot of other content creators give these people credit for. I think that they get a lot of happy accidents. I think that there's a couple people that have some really good ideas. And the biggest thing, especially with these companies, especially these tech-based companies, it's not about being the smartest. Half of it's really about being first to market with an idea and then figuring it out on the way down. Jump off the cliff and then figure out how to grow your wings on the way down. You have that time period between the time that you jump off the cliff and then you hit the ground splat to figure out how to make things work. And if it doesn't work, you take what you did learn from that losing effort and then you put that towards something else. Half the things that we see in existence aren't necessarily good ideas that came out that way the first time. They're basically just Frankenstein ideas. This broken, this was broken, that was broken, but these three things together actually make a little Frankenstein baby that could work. And if that don't work, once again, making more Frankenstein babies out of all the broken parts. That's pretty much all business is.